Chosen one, have you noticed how your relationship with animals is different? It is not just a common affection, but something that touches the deepest part of your soul. Could it be that this sensitivity you feel toward animals is part of a divine calling, something greater than ordinary compassion? Since childhood, perhaps you have already felt something special, a dog that seemed to understand your feelings without a word, a cat that came close in your most difficult moments, or a bird that sang as if it was speaking directly to you. These are not mere coincidences. They are signs of a deep connection that God has prepared especially for you. A huge thank you to everyone who has shown their support by donating through Super Thanks. Your contributions, no matter the amount, are greatly appreciated and help keep this message going. If you feel inspired by the content, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment with 777 to signify your readiness to embrace this divine connection. Your engagement means the world, and your support helps others discover their unique calling too. When we look at creation, we see that God has placed a unique essence in every living being. Animals are not just simple creatures, but silent messengers of a wisdom that transcends the material world. And you, in some special way, are able to grasp this language that goes beyond what the eyes can see. Have you ever felt that an animal's glance or gesture carries meaning beyond the physical world, as if it speaks directly to your soul? Many people go through life without understanding this connection, but for you, a glance, a gesture from an animal can carry meanings that go beyond common understanding. It is as if there were a secret dialogue, a spiritual communication that connects your soul to divine creation. This sensitivity is not an accident. It is a gift, a special mark that God has placed in your heart. While some see only an animal, you see a creature with a story, with purpose, with a sacred essence. You feel the pain, the joy, the need of every living being with an intensity that few can experience. It is not about being more special than others. It is about having received a unique calling to care for, to protect, and to understand creation in a different way. A silent mission of love and care that manifests in every gesture, in every look. In this video, we will explore this special calling together. We will understand how your connection with animals reveals a greater purpose, a divine mission that few comprehend. God's chosen ones, do you feel a deep connection with animals? When God created the world, it was not a mere accident. Every detail, every element of creation was woven together with purpose and intention. But what if you are meant to be a key part of that purpose? Could it be that the mission entrusted to humanity is not just a role we play, but a divine calling, one that touches the very core of our existence? From the very beginning, God established a unique relationship between man and creation, a connection that transcends mere stewardship. In the Garden of Eden, He revealed His will for humankind, a profound calling of care and preservation that is more than just a task. It is a spiritual vocation, a connection that surpasses time and human understanding. In Genesis 2:15, we are told, "The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it." This commandment is not just a simple instruction for humanity to tend to the earth. It is a divine revelation that carries within it a deeper meaning, a meaning that only the chosen ones can truly grasp. To cultivate is not just about planting seeds or tending crops. It is about nurturing, developing and guiding each part of creation with an almost paternal responsibility. The word "to guard" in this verse does not simply mean to protect physically. It speaks to something far deeper, preserving the essence of creation, ensuring that its original purpose is maintained. This is where the chosen ones understand the divine calling in a unique way. For them, the earth is not a resource to exploit, but a sacred gift to protect. It is a divine trust, and the chosen ones are its stewards. This is not a bureaucratic task. It is a deep, spiritual calling that resonates in every action they take. As one of the chosen, do you feel this responsibility weighing on your heart, calling you to care for creation with reverence and love? Take the example of Saint Francis of Assisi, a man who is often remembered for his deep connection with nature and animals. He is known for seeing every creature, from birds to wolves, as part of God's creation, deserving of respect and care. St. Francis's life was a living example of how the chosen ones can see the world not as something to conquer, but as something to protect. Could it be that your connection to nature and animals is not just a passing interest, but a divine calling similar to St. Francis? Are you too being invited to see the earth through the eyes of reverence and responsibility? In Psalm 8, verses 6 through 8, we read, "You made them rulers over the works of your hands. You put everything under their feet, all flocks and herds, and the animals of the wild, the birds in the sky, and the fish in the sea, all that swim the paths of the seas." This passage reveals God's intention for humanity to rule with wisdom, kindness, and respect. The chosen ones understand that this dominion is not about power, but about guardianship. It is not about exploiting creation, but about protecting it, nurturing it, and ensuring it thrives for future generations. Consider the life of the late conservationist Wangari Maathai, whose tireless efforts to plant trees and preserve nature made her an international symbol of environmental stewardship. Maathai's life was a testimony to how one person, deeply connected to God's calling, can make a monumental difference in the world. She understood, as the chosen ones do, that caring for creation is not just an act of kindness, it is a sacred duty. Could your own actions be calling you to follow in her footsteps? To understand that your role in preserving creation is part of your higher purpose? In Isaiah 11, 6 through 9, the prophet speaks of the future kingdom of peace, where the wolf will live with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the goat, the calf and the lion and the yearling together, and a little child will lead them. This vision paints a picture of harmony between humans and animals, a relationship based on mutual respect and understanding. Chosen one, have you ever felt this connection? That inexplicable pain when you see an animal suffer, that almost spiritual joy when you observe nature in perfect harmony, that deep discomfort when you witness environmental destruction. These feelings are not just emotional reactions, they are divine whispers calling you to remember your purpose. Could it be that these feelings are not random, but a sacred reminder of the divine calling placed on your life? In the beginning, in the Garden of Eden, Adam was not merely an administrator or caretaker of creation. He had an intimate, almost symbiotic connection with every part of the earth. His relationship with animals, plants, and all of creation was not one of control or domination. It was one of communion, of shared existence, and of deep sacred responsibility. What if this connection you feel today is a reflection of that original bond, passed down through the generations to those of you who have been chosen to see and feel the world differently? In Genesis 2, 19-20, we read, "Now the Lord God had formed out of the ground all the wild animals and all the birds in the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them, and whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name." This moment in the garden illustrates more than just the beginning of creation. It reveals a profound relationship between man and nature. Could it be that, like Adam, your calling is not simply to observe, but to understand each creature, grasping its essence, its unique place in God's creation? Adam was entrusted with the responsibility to know and care for each living being. While many people simply observe the world around them, the chosen ones feel deeply. They are not indifferent to the suffering of animals, nor do they turn a blind eye to the devastation of ecosystems. Instead, they feel the pain of the earth as if it is their own. Does the suffering of animals or the destruction of nature resonate deeply within you, stirring something beyond mere empathy? They recognize that every animal has a story, every plant has a purpose, and every ecosystem carries a message from the divine. This sensitivity is not a burden, it is a divine gift, a special talent entrusted only to those with hearts prepared to understand the true dimension of creation. Could it be that this sensitivity is a divine mark, signaling your role in preserving and protecting the world around you? In Romans 8:22-23, we are told, "We know that the whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. Not only so, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for our adoption to sonship, the redemption of our bodies." This passage speaks to the longing of creation for redemption, a redemption that begins with those of us who've been chosen to understand the earth's true calling. Could it be that you, as one of the chosen, are called to play a pivotal role in restoring the earth to its original harmony, answering the groaning of creation with action and love? Consider the life of Greta Thunberg, the young environmental activist whose passionate speeches and tireless advocacy for climate action have inspired millions. Greta's sensitivity to the planet's suffering is not just an emotional reaction. It is a divine calling that has propelled her to speak out and take action. Her mission to protect the earth and its creatures mirrors the responsibility that has been entrusted to the chosen ones, to stand up for what is right, to defend the vulnerable, and to care for creation in ways that others cannot. Could you too be called to use your voice and actions to protect the earth, just as Greta has done for the future generations? The chosen ones are not superior to others. Rather, they are different. They are set apart because they understand that their mission is not just about caring for the world, it is about being in deep communion with it. Do you feel that your mission goes beyond simple stewardship, that it resonates with your soul in a way others may not understand? Their responsibility goes far beyond rational comprehension. It is a calling that resonates in the depths of their souls, urging them to act in ways that others may not fully understand. This divine mark manifests in unique and personal ways. For some, it is through the care of abandoned animals. For others, it is the fight for the preservation of endangered species. Some nurture plants with an almost maternal love, while others protect forests as if they were sacred sanctuaries. Some defend the oceans, guarding them as a sacred treasure. What is your unique mission? How do you feel called to express your divine responsibility to care for creation? In Matthew 25:40, Jesus says, "The king will reply, 'Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me.'" This verse reminds us that our care for the least of creation is a reflection of our love for God. When we protect an animal, save a plant, or preserve a habitat, we are fulfilling our divine mission. The chosen ones recognize this truth in their every action, knowing that their work is sacred. How can you embody this calling in your own life? How might your unique mission contribute to the restoration of God's creation? Just as Mahatma Gandhi's nonviolent philosophy inspired millions to fight for justice, the chosen ones understand that their mission to preserve the earth is an act of justice. It is a fight for the rights of all living beings, and it requires a heart of compassion and wisdom. Gandhi once said, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated." Could it be that your actions, like Gandhi's, will inspire others to treat all of creation with dignity, respect, and love? In the same way that each chosen one has a unique mission, all share the same original calling: to cultivate and guard creation with love, respect, and an understanding that goes far beyond purely rational comprehension. As you reflect on your connection with the earth, ask yourself, what does your heart feel called to protect? What is the unique role you play in the ongoing work of caring for God's creation? Chosen one, have you ever considered this profound truth? That even before the creation of humanity, God had already blessed the animals. This revelation, found in Genesis, unveils a deep dimension of divine love that few can truly grasp. Before humanity was created, animals were already an integral part of God's perfect plan. The Bible shows us that God's love for creation existed long before humans took their first breath. And it is a love that transcends human understanding. Could it be that, as one of the chosen ones, you are called to understand and cherish this love in a way that others cannot? In Genesis 1:20-23, we read, "And God said, Let the waters abound with an abundance of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth, across the face of the firmament of the heavens. So God created great sea creatures and every living thing that moves, with which the waters abounded, according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." This moment of creation is far more than a simple account of life emerging. It is a profound declaration of God's love for each creature. God does not just create life, He blesses it. He encourages it to multiply, to thrive, and to fill the world He has made. As one of the chosen, how do you feel when you reflect on this divine blessing over all of creation? Could it be that, like God intended, you are being called to see and honor this blessing in every living being you encounter? Notice that God not only creates but blesses. He does not simply form the creatures of the sea and the sky. He encourages their flourishing. Each animal, each living being is endowed with a purpose, a mission that stretches far beyond our limited human understanding. The blessing God bestows upon them is not casual nor secondary. It is deliberate, filled with love and care. Could it be that, as the chosen ones, you are called to see this divine blessing in every living creature? When you look at the world around you, do you see the beauty and purpose in the creatures that God has blessed, just as He intended? In Psalm 104, verses 24-25, we read, "How many are your works, Lord? In wisdom you made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. There is the sea, vast and spacious, teeming with creatures beyond number, living things both large and small." This verse speaks to the richness and diversity of God's creation. The waters teem with life, the skies are filled with birds, and the earth is home to countless creatures. How does this vastness speak to you, chosen one? Do you recognize that, just as God has created every creature with wisdom, you too are part of this divine harmony, entrusted with the responsibility to care for creation? The chosen ones understand this truth in a profound way. While many see animals as simple beings, the chosen ones perceive a deeper essence in each of them. They are not just creatures of the earth. They are messages from God. They are signs of His love, His wisdom, and His divine perfection. God looked at each creature and declared it was good, not just useful, not just functional, but truly good. What do you see when you look at the animals around you, chosen one? Do you recognize the divine essence within them? Could it be that, as the chosen, you are called to understand the spiritual significance of the creatures that share this world with us? Consider the example of the famous naturalist and environmentalist, David Attenborough, whose documentaries have brought the wonders of the natural world into our homes. Attenborough has often spoken about the intricate beauty of the natural world and how each creature plays an essential role in the larger web of life. For Attenborough, the natural world is not just something to be observed. It is a reflection of the divine, a testament to the Creator's design. How does Attenborough's message resonate with you as someone who has a unique connection to creation? Could it be that, like him, you too are called to see the world through spiritual eyes, understanding that the entire earth reflects God's purpose? In Matthew 6:26, Jesus tells us, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they?" This verse reminds us that God provides for all creatures, from the birds of the air to the creatures of the sea. He cares for them, just as He cares for us. Do you see the divine care in every animal's life, chosen one? How might this awareness change the way you interact with creation? Could it be that the care and attention you give to animals is a reflection of God's love and care for all of His creation? Each creature is more than just an animal. It is a window into the divine, a bridge between the material world and the spiritual realm. When you look into the eyes of an animal, do you see just a living being, or do you see a reflection of God's love, creativity, and care? For the chosen ones, animals are not just part of creation. They are a vital part of the divine plan, carrying with them the essence of God's love and His purpose for the world. Chosen one, have you ever experienced a connection with an animal that transcends ordinary understanding? Many of the chosen ones report experiences that seem almost supernatural in their depth. These are not just fleeting moments of interaction, but profound connections that go beyond words, beyond physical barriers, reaching deep into the soul. These moments reveal truths about creation, about God, and about the profound relationship between humanity and all of creation. Could it be that these experiences are not mere coincidences, but divine callings? What if, in those moments of connection, you are being invited to see the world through the eyes of the Creator, to understand the divine language that echoes in the natural world? In Genesis 1:22, God blesses the creatures of the earth, saying, "God blessed them and said, 'Be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the water in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth.'" From the very beginning, God's blessing upon the animals was not just a command. It was an invitation to share in His creative love. Just as God continues to bless His creation, He also blesses those who recognize the true value of each creature. Do you ever feel that your connection to animals is more than just a passing affection? Could it be that as one of the chosen, you are being entrusted with a deeper understanding of this sacred bond between humanity and the animal kingdom? The chosen ones often describe their relationship with animals as a kind of guardianship of an ancient truth, a truth that speaks through the very essence of creation. Just as ancient languages tell stories that are rich in meaning, so too do the animals around us speak a language that few can comprehend. Think of the animals as living books, each one telling a unique story. The birds that sing praises, though silent to our ears, are offering their song as a form of worship. The animals that maintain the balance of nature are carrying out their divine mission with precision and grace. The sea creatures that dwell in the vast oceans are symbols of the depth and mystery of God's creation. Each of these creatures plays a vital role in the divine plan, just as you are playing a role in God's greater purpose. What stories are the animals around you telling? How might you, as one of the chosen, learn to listen to the silent songs and messages of the natural world? In Psalm 104, verses 24 to 25, we read, "How many are your works, Lord? In wisdom you made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. There is the sea, vast and spacious, teeming with creatures beyond number, living things both large and small." This passage celebrates the incredible diversity and richness of God's creation. The sea is teeming with life, and every living thing has a role to play in maintaining the balance of the earth. Take the example of Temple Grandin, a renowned animal scientist and autism advocate who has a unique ability to understand the minds of animals. Grandin often speaks of her deep connection with the animals she works with, describing how she can sense their emotions and needs in ways that others cannot. Could it be that, like Grandin, you are being called to understand animals in a deeper, almost supernatural way? What might the animals around you be trying to communicate, and how might you be uniquely equipped to understand and respond to their needs? In Job 12:7-10, we are reminded, "But ask the animals, and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, or let the fish in the sea inform you. Which of all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this?" This passage invites us to look beyond the surface and recognize that the natural world is speaking to us. The animals, the birds, the earth itself, they all carry within them the wisdom of the Creator. As one of the chosen, are you willing to listen to the voices of creation? Could it be that the animals around you are teaching you something important about the divine plan? Each animal is a living expression of God's love, a messenger of His creative power. The chosen ones understand this truth in a way that transcends the ordinary. They do not merely observe animals, they connect with them on a deeper level, sensing the divine essence within them. For the chosen ones, caring for an animal is not just an act of compassion, it is an act of worship. Have you ever considered that when you care for an animal, you are not only showing love, but also honoring God's original plan for creation? Caring for an animal goes beyond offering food or shelter. It is about recognizing the inherent value of every living being and understanding that each creature carries within it a divine purpose. In Genesis 1:31, God looks at His creation and declares, "God saw all that He had made, and it was very good." This moment is not just a statement of completion, but an affirmation of the divine goodness in all of creation. Every creature, every living being is part of this goodness, part of God's perfect design. The act of caring for an animal is not a simple gesture, it is a sacred responsibility. You are becoming an instrument of love and restoration, bringing healing and care to God's creation. Just as God entrusted Adam with the task of tending to the Garden of Eden, He has entrusted you with the care of the creatures that surround you. Psalm 36:6 tells us, "Your righteousness is like the highest mountains, your justice like the great deep." You, Lord, preserve both people and animals. This verse reminds us that God cares for all His creation, both human and animal. The chosen ones understand this truth in a special way. They recognize that every act of kindness toward an animal is a reflection of God's care and justice. How do you see your role in preserving and caring for God's creation? God's love, in its purest and simplest form, is present in animals. They are not just part of creation, they are messengers of a deeper truth, living signs of divine love that transcend human understanding. When you look at an animal, you are not just seeing a creature, you are encountering a living reflection of God's love, a reminder of His creativity, His care, and His divine plan for the world. Take the example of Dame Jane Goodall, whose groundbreaking work with chimpanzees revealed the deep emotional lives of animals and their capacity for empathy. Goodall often speaks about how her interactions with these animals have deepened her own understanding of the interconnectedness of all life. Her life is a living example of how the chosen ones, through their care for animals, become instruments of love and restoration. Could your own work with animals, whether big or small, be part of a larger divine calling to restore the harmony between humanity and creation? In 1 John 4:19-21, we are reminded, "We love because He first loved us. Whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or sister is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister, whom they have seen, cannot love God, whom they have not seen." This passage underscores the connection between our love for others, both human and animal, and our love for God. Caring for animals is not just a matter of compassion. It is an expression of love for the Creator, who first loved us. How might your love for animals deepen your relationship with God? The original blessing continues to manifest today through those who have eyes to see, hearts to feel, and sensitivity to understand. As the chosen ones, you are part of the ongoing manifestation of this divine blessing. Your ability to connect with animals in a way that others cannot is a gift, a calling, and a responsibility. Chosen one, when the world was heading towards destruction, God chose a man to be the guardian of life. Noah was not a random choice. He was a divine instrument chosen to preserve creation at a time of total devastation. The story of the Ark is not just a historical account, but a prophetic model for the mission of the chosen ones throughout the ages. Could it be that, like Noah, you are being called to be a guardian of life in a world that seems to be heading toward destruction? In Genesis 6:9 we read, "This is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God." This powerful account reveals that Noah's righteousness set him apart. He was chosen not just for his own faithfulness, but to carry out a mission of monumental importance, to save life. How might Noah's unwavering faith and obedience inspire you to embrace the responsibility of caring for God's creation? Noah was not a modern biologist. He had no advanced technology or scientific knowledge. His only tools were faith, obedience, and a divine mission. He was tasked with building the ark, not just to save himself and his family, but to ensure the preservation of every species. From the tiniest insect to the largest mammal, every animal had a purpose, a place in God's plan. As it is written in Genesis 6:19-20, "You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of bird, of every kind of animal, and of every kind of creature that moves along the ground will come to you to be kept alive." This instruction was clear and absolute. There were no distinctions between the animals. Each one was to be saved. What does this say about God's love for all His creation? Could it be that every animal, no matter how small or large, is a precious part of God's divine plan, equally deserving of care and preservation? For the chosen ones today, this mission remains alive. Just like Noah, many feel an almost inexplicable calling to protect life, not just out of love for animals, but as a divine responsibility. It is a calling to be the guardians of creation during times of destruction. Notice the details of Noah's mission. God did not say, "Save only the useful animals." There was no distinction. Every species, from the majestic lion to the smallest insect, had its place in the ark. The ark was not just a means of survival, it was a symbol of hope, of restoration, and of new beginnings. Each animal that entered represented the possibility of renewal, of a fresh start. Noah was not merely saving physical lives, he was safeguarding God's original plan for creation. How does the symbolism of the ark relate to the work you are called to do today? Could it be that, like Noah, you are being called to create a place of safety, preservation, and hope for the creatures of the earth? For the chosen ones today, the mission remains the same, though it may take different forms. You are the modern builders of arks, not with wood and tools, but with compassion, with love, and with a dedication that goes beyond common understanding. Could it be that your role as a protector of creation is the modern manifestation of the divine mission given to Noah? Chosen one, when you rescue an abandoned animal, when you protect an endangered species, you are fulfilling Noah's original calling. The mission of preservation is not easy. Just as Noah faced ridicule and misunderstanding for building an ark on dry land, in preparation for a flood that no one believed would come, the chosen ones today encounter similar challenges. They are often misunderstood and mocked for their love and dedication to creation. Do you ever feel misunderstood for your commitment to protect life, as Noah did? Yet, just like Noah, you carry an inner certainty, a conviction that comes from God. It is not just a feeling, it is a divine calling, guiding you through challenges and opposition. Every rescued animal, every protected species is a testimony of God's love. It is a declaration that life matters, that every creature has a purpose in God's grand design. Could it be that your actions are more than acts of kindness? They are divine declarations of the value of life. Noah's story teaches us that preservation is an act of faith. It does not depend on human understanding or the approval of others, but on divine obedience. Just as Noah continued to build the ark despite mockery, the chosen ones today continue to build their own arks, protecting life and being instruments of restoration, even when the world seems indifferent. God created life and did not establish rigid boundaries between creatures. There is a divine thread that connects all living beings, a spiritual essence that transcends common human understanding. Have you ever considered that the connections you feel with animals and nature may be part of a greater spiritual reality, a divine bond that links all life together? The breath of life is not just a biological concept. It is a sublime manifestation of God's love and creative power. In Genesis 7:15 we read, "So they went to Noah, to the ark, 2 by 2 of all flesh, in which is the breath of life." This passage reveals that the breath of life is not an exclusive privilege of human beings. Each creature, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal, carries within it a divine spark, a mystery that few can truly comprehend. This revelation challenges our conventional understanding of life. What if, like Noah, you were being called to recognize the sacredness of all life, seeing the divine spark in every creature you encounter? Just as Noah saw the divine purpose in saving every species, you are being asked to see the value and purpose of each living being, understanding that they are not just part of nature, but reflections of God's creative power. Chosen one, the term breath of life goes far beyond a simple biological process. It is a spiritual connection that links all creatures to their Creator. This breath of life is not just the oxygen that fuels the body. It is the divine essence that animates every living being, a manifestation of God's loving power. Each animal, each living being, carries within itself an essence that reflects God's creative power. Have you ever considered that every living creature, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal, is not just an organism, but a living expression of divine love? When you look at an animal, do you see more than just a creature of flesh and bone? Or do you see a being imbued with purpose and divine spark designed by God Himself? They are not merely functional organisms. They are part of a grand spiritual design, each reflecting the infinite care and creativity of God. In Genesis 2:7, we read, "Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being." This moment of creation is significant not just for humanity, but for all of creation. God's breath, the breath of life, is what connects every creature, every being to Him. How does this understanding of the breath of life deepen your view of creation as a whole? Could it be that the divine spark that gives life to humanity is also present in every animal, plant, and even the smallest microorganism? The breath of life is a connection that transcends physical existence, linking all living beings back to their Creator. Each creature has its role, its importance, and its unique mission in the grand project of creation. The chosen ones understand this truth in a special way. They see animals not just as living beings, but as unique reflections of God's creation, each with its own purpose in the vast, interconnected web of life. Do you ever feel a deep sense of awe when you observe the life of an animal? When you see the intricate behavior of an ant colony or the majestic flight of an eagle? Do you sense that these creatures are fulfilling their divine purpose as part of God's larger plan? The chosen ones recognize that every animal, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, is a part of God's beautiful and harmonious design. What if you are being called to recognize the sacredness in every creature you encounter, seeing beyond the physical to the divine essence that resides within? Think of the complexity of each living being. A bird is not just a collection of feathers and bones. It is a being with personality, with emotions, with a unique connection to the universe. The way it sings, the way it soars, speaks to a deeper connection to creation that humans cannot fully comprehend. Similarly, an ant is not just a tiny insect. It is a creature with impressive collective intelligence, a creature that works in unity with others, each fulfilling a role in its colony that contributes to the health of the environment. What does it mean for you, as one of the chosen, to recognize the intelligence and purpose in creatures as small as ants or as grand as whales? These creatures remind us that all beings, no matter their size, are vital parts of the created world and hold an intrinsic value that God designed them with. Modern science is beginning to uncover the intricate lives of animals. Studies have shown that animals possess remarkable intelligence and complex emotional capacities, from elephants showing empathy for one another to dolphins creating complex social bonds. Animals communicate in sophisticated ways that we are just beginning to understand, but for the chosen ones, this is not new. It is merely the confirmation of something they have always felt deep within. The realization that animals are not just biological machines, they are living expressions of God's wisdom. How does this growing understanding from science resonate with what you have always known intuitively about animals? Have you always felt that the creatures around you were more than just instinct-driven beings, but divine messengers, revealing the complexity and beauty of creation? This spiritual connection between humans and animals manifests in surprising ways. Many of the chosen report almost supernatural experiences in their relationships with animals. These are moments of communication that transcend words, gestures, or even physical barriers, a communication that touches the soul and reveals deep truths about creation and the Creator. Have you ever had a moment where an animal seemed to speak to your soul, or where you felt a deep, unspoken connection with it? These experiences are not simply coincidence. They are divine moments where the breath of life within you and the breath of life within the animal meet and communicate on a deeper level, revealing God's love and wisdom. The Bible consistently reminds us that God is the giver of life and that He breathed life into every creature. In Genesis 7:15 we read, "So they went to Noah, to the ark, 2 by 2 of all flesh, in which is the breath of life." This passage affirms that the breath of life is not a privilege reserved only for humans, but for all living creatures. Could it be that the divine spark present in every living creature serves as a constant reminder of God's love and creative power? Every animal, from the smallest bird to the largest whale, carries within it the same breath of life that God gave to Adam and Eve. This shared essence is what connects all creatures to the Creator, binding us together in a web of divine love and purpose. When you connect with animals on a deeper level, you are not just experiencing empathy or affection, you are recognizing that these creatures too are part of the sacred web of life created by God. Their intelligence, their emotions, their relationships, and their roles in the environment are all part of the divine purpose that God set in motion from the beginning of time. How might this deeper understanding of the breath of life change the way you interact with animals and the world around you? Chosen one, each living being carries within itself a divine mark, an essence that connects it directly to its Creator. For the chosen ones, animals are much more than mere creatures. They are messengers, carriers of a wisdom that goes beyond human understanding. Have you ever looked into the eyes of an animal and felt that it was not just a biological being, but a creation imbued with divine purpose? When you gaze into the eyes of an animal, what you see is not merely an organism functioning by instinct, but a being that carries the essence of God's love, a unique reflection of His creativity. This connection transcends physical and mental barriers, reaching deep into the soul. In the Bible, we are reminded of the deep connection between all living beings and their Creator. In Psalm 104:30, we read, "When you send your Spirit, they are created, and you renew the face of the ground." This passage speaks of God's active involvement in every aspect of creation. The Spirit of God is present in every creature, breathing life into them, connecting them to Him in a profound way. Could it be that, as the chosen ones, you are uniquely attuned to this divine connection, able to see the essence of God's love reflected in every living being? There are countless accounts of animals demonstrating extraordinary levels of compassion, emotional intelligence, and spiritual connection. Dogs that comfort people in moments of sadness, sensing their owner's distress and offering quiet companionship. Dolphins that protect humans from danger, guiding them away from sharks, or even saving them from drowning. What does it mean for you to witness these acts of compassion? Could it be that animals are demonstrating the deep spiritual connection they share with God, reflecting His love through their actions? Animals form deep emotional bonds that often defy scientific explanation. Elephants mourn their dead, showing empathy and sorrow in ways that are remarkably similar to human emotions. Orcas have been known to help sick or injured members of their pod, supporting them even when it would be easier to abandon them. Do you ever sense that these extraordinary acts of compassion are not just instinctual, but expressions of a deeper divine love? Could it be that, like the chosen ones, you are called to recognize and honor the spiritual depth that animals possess, understanding that they too reflect the Creator's heart? The chosen ones feel this connection in an almost inexplicable way. It is as if there were a secret language, a silent dialogue that connects all creatures. Have you ever felt a sense of communication with an animal that went beyond words? It is not a connection based on physical actions or spoken language, but a deep spiritual understanding, a fine-tuning with God's original plan for creation. Could it be that you, as one of the chosen, are given the unique ability to perceive this spiritual language, a divine connection that transcends human understanding? This sensitivity is not an accident. It is a divine mark, a special calling for those who can see beyond the obvious. Could your heightened sensitivity to animals be a sign of your unique role in creation, a calling to recognize and honor the spiritual connection between all living beings? When you care for an animal, you are not simply caring for a physical being. You are honoring the breath of life that God breathed into His creation. You are participating in the divine mission to restore, protect, and love all of creation, fulfilling a purpose that goes beyond human understanding. In Genesis 2:7 it is written, "Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being." This breath of life is not exclusive to humanity. It is shared by all living beings, and it is a sacred gift that connects all life to the Creator. How does this understanding shape the way you view every living creature? When you care for an animal, you are participating in God's divine plan to honor and protect life, not just as a physical act, but as a spiritual calling that transcends human comprehension. Life is not limited to what our eyes can see. There is a spiritual dimension that connects all living beings. The chosen ones are those who can perceive this dimension, who feel the divine presence in each creature, who understand that each living being is a testimony of God's infinite love. Could it be that this sensitivity you feel towards animals is a divine gift, allowing you to see and experience life in its fullest, most sacred form. Chosen One, the mission to protect creation is not a secondary calling, but a fundamental purpose for God's chosen ones. In Proverbs 12:10, we find a powerful revelation. The righteous care for the needs of their animals, but the kindest acts of the wicked are cruel. This passage is not merely a recommendation, but a profound statement about divine character and spiritual responsibility. God's relationship with creation is not casual. From the very beginning, he established a unique relationship between humanity and creation, a deliberate calling to be guardians, protectors, and caretakers of all life. In Genesis 2:15, we are told, "The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it." This was not just a casual command, but a sacred vocation, entrusted to humanity to ensure that the beauty and balance of creation would be preserved. Do you see your role as a steward of creation as part of a higher purpose, one that aligns with the original mission God gave to humanity? As the chosen ones, we're called to tend to the earth and its creatures with love, wisdom, and respect. The chosen ones understand that this mission goes far beyond a simple act of compassion. It is a divine vocation, a sacred calling to preserve and protect every form of life. The responsibility is not limited to a specific group or restricted area. Each chosen one carries within them a unique sensitivity, a divine mark that sets them apart. While many view nature as a resource to be exploited, the chosen ones see it as a sacred gift, a living testimony of God's love. Could it be that your deep connection with nature is an expression of this divine vocation, urging you to act as a protector and guardian of the earth's creatures? Take the example of Cesar Millan, the world-renowned dog whisperer. Millan's life is a testament to the profound bond between humans and animals. He has dedicated his life to understanding and rehabilitating animals, particularly dogs, helping them heal from trauma and build a better relationship with their human companions. Through his work, Millan demonstrates the power of empathy, showing that caring for animals is not just about meeting their physical needs, but about connecting with their spirits and guiding them to healing. How does Millan's work inspire you to embrace the responsibility of protecting and caring for animals? This mission manifests in multiple ways, each as important as the other. For some, it means rescuing abandoned animals from the streets, giving forgotten creatures a second chance at life. For others, it represents tirelessly fighting for the preservation of endangered species, defending biodiversity against human destruction. There are those who dedicate their lives to protecting fragile ecosystems, meticulously caring for nature in all its forms. In Proverbs 12:10, we are reminded that the righteous care for the needs of their animals, but those who show cruelty reveal a heart distanced from God. This verse illustrates the divine character of those who are entrusted with the care of creation. It is not merely about performing kind acts toward animals, but about demonstrating the love and wisdom of God through our actions. Take Greta Thunberg, the Swedish environmental activist who became a global voice for climate action. Thunberg's message has ignited a worldwide movement as she has called on world leaders to take immediate and meaningful action to protect the planet. Despite facing criticism, Thunberg continues her mission, showing that caring for the earth is not just a passion, but a divine responsibility. Her dedication has inspired millions to consider how they can each play a part in preserving creation. How does Thunberg's unwavering commitment to the environment inspire you to act in your own life as a steward of creation? The Bible repeatedly highlights the importance of respecting and caring for creation. From Genesis, when God entrusted humanity with the mission to cultivate and keep the garden, to the prophetic teachings that highlight the harmony of creation, there is a constant call for reverence and preservation. The chosen ones are the true heirs of this original mission. Do you see yourself as a part of this continuing responsibility to care for creation, just as the righteous did in the beginning. Proverbs 12:10 makes a profound distinction between the righteous, who care for creation, and the wicked, whose kindness is ultimately hollow. It is not just about treating animals well, it is about revealing the divine character through care, respect, and love. Cruelty is not merely an act. It is a reflection of a heart that is distant from God. How can you embody this divine calling in your own actions, ensuring that your treatment of animals and nature reflects God's love and justice? Chosen one, you are called to be different, to be light in a world often marked by destruction and indifference. Each of you has your own journey, your own specific calling. Some of you are veterinarians who heal injured animals. Others are researchers studying endangered species. There are those who work in sanctuaries, those who develop conservation projects, and those who educate others about the value of life in all its forms. Have you ever thought about how your unique role in protecting creation fits into God's greater plan? Every action you take, no matter how small, is part of a divine purpose, a calling to restore and care for creation. The mission of protection manifests at various levels. It ranges from caring for a pet to fighting for global environmental causes. Every action you take, no matter how small it seems, is a testimony of God's love for creation. How do you see your daily actions toward animals and nature as an expression of divine love? These are not just isolated acts, but part of a greater purpose of restoration and care. The chosen ones understand that the protection of creation is a sublime form of worship. It is not a heavy burden, but an extraordinary privilege. Could it be that every rescued animal, every preserved habitat, is a declaration of divine love? Each act of care is an act of reverence, a way to honor the Creator through the preservation of His most precious creation. This responsibility requires courage and determination. Often, the chosen ones will be misunderstood, criticized, seen as different or even crazy. But true vocation has never been about being popular. It has always been about being faithful to the divine calling. How do you feel when your passion for protecting creation is misunderstood? You are guardians of a deeper truth, defenders of a mission that transcends immediate human interests. The protection of creation is not an isolated act, but part of a greater divine plan. Each chosen one has a unique role in this sacred mission. What unites all the chosen ones is the deep understanding that every life matters. Do you see every creature, no matter how small, as an integral part of God's plan for creation? There is no lesser or unimportant life. Each creature carries within it a divine purpose, a mission that goes beyond what our eyes can see. Being chosen is understanding that you are part of something greater. It is realizing that your mission goes beyond yourself, that every act of care, every gesture of love, and every moment of protection is a declaration of God's infinite love for all His creation. Since the dawn of time, God has used animals as instruments of divine communication, revealing that His creation goes far beyond what human understanding can reach. Have you ever felt that an animal might be conveying a divine message to you? Animals are not mere biological beings, but extraordinary messengers, bearers of spiritual revelations that challenge our limited perception of the universe. In the book of Numbers 22:21-33, we find one of the most impressive accounts of divine communication through an animal. Balaam, a prophet who initially did not understand God's intentions, is confronted by his own donkey. At first, Balaam did not perceive the angel blocking his path. Could it be that, like Balaam, we often miss the messages God sends through His creatures? It was the animal that saved him, seeing what the human could not. The donkey not only saw the angel, but also spoke, not with a common animal voice, but with a clarity that challenged all human understanding. It questioned Balaam, revealing a divine wisdom that went far beyond human intelligence. This account shows us that God can use any creature to convey His message, to reveal hidden truths. What does this passage teach us about God's ability to communicate through animals? Could it be that, as the chosen ones, you are called to recognize these messages, to understand the spiritual wisdom animals carry? Another powerful example is found in 1 Kings 17:4-6, when God uses ravens to feed the prophet Elijah in a moment of total despair. When Elijah was hiding, God sent ravens to bring him bread and meat. They were not angels, they were not humans, but birds that became instruments of divine provision. How does this story challenge our view of animals as mere creatures and invite us to see them as instruments of divine action? The chosen ones understand this truth in a special way. You do not see animals as mere creatures, but as potential divine messengers. Each encounter, each interaction can carry a profound message, a spiritual sign that goes beyond the material world. Have you ever had an experience where an animal appeared at a crucial moment, bringing comfort or guidance? Many of the chosen report extraordinary experiences of spiritual communication through animals. These are moments when a bird appears at a significant time, or when an animal behaves in an inexplicable way, offering comfort, guidance, or revelation. Could it be that these moments are not coincidences, but manifestations of divine love and care? Beloved chosen one, as we have explored today, divine communication through animals is not limited to ancient biblical accounts. It continues to happen today for those of you who have the eyes to see and ears to hear. You, the chosen ones, are endowed with a special sensitivity, a unique ability to perceive subtle messages that often go unnoticed by others. These communications come in various forms. Sometimes it is an animal that appears at the precise moment when you face an important decision, bringing an inexplicable peace. Other times, it manifests through unusual behavior that offers guidance or serves as a warning. Whether it's a dog sensing your sorrow, a bird appearing in a moment of doubt, or a cat acting in a way that feels almost symbolic, each of these moments can be a divine message, reminding you that you are deeply connected to God's purpose for creation. Animals carry within them a wisdom that transcends human understanding. They possess a unique connection to the divine, one that often bypasses the complexities humans tend to get entangled in. Their simplicity and purity allow them to remain attuned to God's original plan in a way that few of us can fully comprehend. For you, the chosen ones, every animal is more than just a living being. It is a potential messenger, a divine revelation waiting to be recognized. Whether it's a bird that unexpectedly appears, a dog that barks at a pivotal moment, or a cat that behaves differently, these moments remind you that animals are not just creatures. They are bearers of messages that guide, comfort, and enlighten you on your journey with God. Thank you so much for joining me today on this sacred reflection. Your presence and participation in this shared understanding of divine communication through animals is a gift to all of us. Whether you resonate deeply with these truths or are just beginning to explore them, I'm incredibly grateful for your time and attention. It's through your openness to these messages that we all grow together in understanding. If you feel moved to support this message and help continue spreading the word, I invite you to donate through Super Thanks. Your donation, whether large or small, is deeply appreciated. But please know that your support, even without a donation, is equally valued. I'm so grateful to have you here, and your engagement with this message means the world to me. May you be blessed abundantly, chosen one. May you continue to recognize the divine whispers in every creature around you. May your heart remain open to the messages they bring, and may your life be filled with love, peace, and wisdom. Know that as you care for and honor creation, you are fulfilling a higher purpose aligned with God's eternal plan. Peace be with you always.